Okay, guys. So, hey everybody, welcome to Modern FNM here at GameSwap in Mason. Brought to you by Top Deck Productions on Twitch TV. I'm Mark, and this is Mario.
Hello, everyone.
And we've got an exciting match here to start off the night: Abzan versus Ponza.
Yeah, so we are coming in right around the end of turn 2 here. Ben on Ponza was on a mulligan to 5, so might have some work to do to get himself into this game as we see his birds get abrupt decayed right there.
Yeah, that's tough to be on a mull to 5 always, but for this Ponza deck,
is that a Guru Swamp?
That is a Guru Swamp. I was just going to mention that. Yeah, Mike's got a Guru Swamp.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tough for this Ponza deck to be on a mull to 5 because your card quality is already so much lower than the Abzan deck. You know, your cards are just not as good.
Right.
You know, this matchup is definitely winnable for Ponza. It's pretty even, I'd say, because you can cheese your opponent so well.
Yeah, the man on Abzan is kind of taxing. So.
Yeah, it's not, and not only that, but these are, you know, unlike Jund, Mike doesn't have any. Mike doesn't have any red mana, right?
Yeah, here we see the.
Here's where the moon comes. Now, of course, Michael has his basic swamp.
Right.
So that's relevant.
But he did just use his abrupt decay on that bird, so.
Right. So this could be tough.
Of course, Tyler's Tracker is a pretty good threat on its own, so Ben does need to quickly find an answer for that.
Yeah, and Ben can answer that card with, you know, possibly the Lightning Bolt or the Bonfire of the Damned, but most likely with an Inferno Titan. But that's only going to work for so long.
Right.
Mike's going to get to draw a lot of cards here. Not as many cards as he would if he could actually fetch these fetch lands, but.
Right.
Yeah, so Mike's going to fetch his clue.
He missed his pre-damage.
Yeah, leaving a point of damage on the table, as Mario would say.
I don't think I've ever said that.
You definitely said that. You said that the other day when Joe Russell and Ben Weinberg were playing.
Okay,
and,
sure.
And he pushed after combat, leaving a point of damage on the table with a Goyf.
Goyf, yeah. Okay. I don't know if I used that exact phrasing.
You definitely said left a point of damage on the table, Mario. I remember it like it was my own birthday, which I don't remember at all. All right. So we'll see Mike.
So Finks would have been a good blocker for a little while, but now.
Yeah, now we're going to sack
Tyler's
the
Tracker is too big.
Yeah, really tough for Ben being on the mull to 5. You know, having the turn 3 Blood Moon is good. Better on turn 2, but turn 3 is fine. But he just doesn't have anything to follow it up with.
He just really needs an answer to this.
Yeah. Is that a Batter Skull in Ben's
It is,
hand?
and he also has a Monvolia Acid Moss, so he can kill the Swamp here.
Okay, so he can actually Batter Skull next turn.
Get a Swamp, yeah. Chump block with Finks for another turn.
Yeah.
And then get Batter Skull win, but I think Trekker may, well, if Michael waits a turn to attack, right, he can just he can grow Tracker out of range of the Batter Skull.
Can eventually beat Batter Skull.
Of course, all Ben has to do is like not block for a turn, and then he can just bounce it back to his hand.
Right.
So he drew an Arbor Elf there. That doesn't do much. So he actually took the hit. Deco.
Yeah, you'd think he'd want to block with the Finks.
And for some reason, Mike again opted not to crack his clue.
So I assume he'll block with the Finks this time. That way he saves one more point of life when Mike presumably cracks another clue this turn. Sure. So I guess that's relevant. By the way, folks, interesting matchup for round 1 here because Blood Moon has a brand new ruling in effect.
That is true. And somebody actually asked about that in the chat, if the fast land would come in untapped because it was technically a mountain.
That's a good. So I know how shock lands work. The fast land, yeah. Well, the fast land will probably come always in untapped, right?
Yeah, I think it would.
Yeah.
Or does it always come in tapped?
I can't think of the exact wording on a fast land, right? It depends on whichever one the land considers to be the default state.
Yeah, because they recently changed the Blood Moon ruling. If you guys missed that, they changed something about layering with lands and. You no longer can shock a land in through Blood Moon, I guess. So that means it would default come in tapped, right?
Well, it would default come into whatever is default on fast lands. Do fast lands say this comes in tapped unless you control 2 or fewer
I'm not
lands?
sure the exact
or does
wording.
it say this comes in untapped unless you control 3 or more lands?
All land is a basic mountain as it enters the battlefield. Okay, so it would come in untapped then, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got the double block there on Tracker. That seems a little loose from Mike's end. I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't just wait another turn, try to outgrow it, but now his threat is gone, and Ben can return Battle Skull and recast the next turn. So he's just going to equip it out of the Arbor Elf, sure.
Yeah, that seems good. That Arbor Elf is doing work.
That's going to do it, yeah. He's going to get...
Let me just say that an Arbor Elf with the Batter Skull seems like the most antithetical thing. It's like you have this herald of this tiny minute herald of nature. untapping forest, and then you equip it to this Phyrexian death machine.
Sure. Yeah.
That's just, I don't like that. I feel like that is some like
maybe the
some sci-fi.
the Phyrexian kind of like possessed it or whatever. The germ went into the elf's ear, and then
and then
humanity
humanity was born, and they caused the BP oil spill.
Okay, is that what Phyrexia does?
That's what Phyrexia does. Yeah.
Right.
All right, so what do we think Ben can do differently? The first thing I would say is what can Mike do differently would be not lose your tireless tracker.
That does seem good.
But I think I wonder what Mike was thinking. I wonder if he just thought that if he declared attacks quickly enough, Ben would be like, oh, yeah, sure, yep, no blocks. Just
try to sneak in that last hit.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, right.
But you're right. That
seems like a good strategy.
It does seem a little greedy. The other thing, though, from Mike's perspective is that Ben, all the damage you got off with Batterskull, or that you got off with Tracker, is all going to be offset by that lifelink.
Right. That's true.
So it's kind of like a losing race no matter what.
I mean, it may have just like, I wonder how many basics Mike's playing, but he may have just
I think he's got 4. Pretty sure 2 swamps,
okay.
1 forest, 1 plains.
Okay.
Ben would be nice to not mold a 5. But I think Ben wants to bring in some of the threats that are harder for Abzan to deal with. I hope
Stormbreath Dragon.
Stormbreath Dragon. So he's probably got those in the main, but yeah, if he's got more on the side. Throw on the Last Troll or Thragtusk can be good here because they're resilient to a lot of Jun's removal. Throw on the Last Troll dies to Damnation, but Michael doesn't really want to bring in.
Weird card
you don't want to bring in Damnation here. Ben's Inferno Titan also lines up really well with Lingering Souls.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
And Ben also has most likely Bonfire of the Damned to answer those souls. So Michael needs to, being on the play, Michael's got to stick an early Liliana.
Sure.
He's got to keep Ben off the mana ramp. He needs to try to
some early push early removal, early discard, and then
push the Dork.
Land Liliana.
Thoughtseize the Utopia Sprawl, and then land a Liliana. This Ponza deck can't really come back from a Liliana very easily because they don't commit to the board early enough to swing through it. They don't have a Goblin Guide or a Wild Mikado coming out of the gates. So yeah,
you can get in there with your 1/1 Arbor Elf.
You can get in there with the Arbor Elf. That's true. It doesn't work often, but every now and then Liliana
when
is
your Arbor
defeated by an Arbor Elf.
Wearing a Batterskull,
Yeah, that's exactly right. When you've been tainted by the sickness that is Phyrexia. So let's see. So I assume Michael chose to be on the play. That's the prudent thing to do here.
He is not playing against the rack, so yeah. Seems like the right choice.
I played against the rack on Tuesday here, and I consciously made the choice not to fall for that trap, and I decided to just be on the play after I lost game 1. And it worked out well for me. I shit on him, so it felt good. Now he's playing mono black the rack, not white black the rack.
Okay.
So maybe there's a difference.
Looks like Ben is maybe taking another mulligan to 6 here. I think Mike liked his hand.
Yeah, this Ponza deck, it mulligans kind of terribly. You sort of have to have mana ramp or the deck doesn't function. I think Ben lucked out there by Mike having no concept of what he was doing because Ben played 2 forests out and Mike is like, okay, what do you want, like Tooth and Nail or something?
Sure, or any sort of value town green deck with played birds.
Right. And then so Mike didn't have the wherewithal to at that time to be able to fetch for any basics except that 1 swamp.
So we get a look at
the Trinisphere.
Yeah, we got Trinisphere, Utopia Sprawl, Finks, and Beast Within. So you probably take Utopia Sprawl.
Yeah, I'd say you take the Sprawl. Trinisphere doesn't seem like a good card against Abzan.
It's a little weird. I mean, most of their
best
main cards cost 2 or 3 anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
A lot of your best cards are Liliana and Lingering Souls. Making the path cost 3 is annoying, but it's going to kill the Inferno Titan either way.
Sure, yeah.
The Basic Plains for Mike is a good way to begin the game, though.
Yeah, just naturally drawing the basic plains.
Looks like he doesn't have a fetch land, though.
No, he does not. In fact, he may have nothing. I think he has a Grim Flare in hand, maybe, that he can't cast because of the basic plains.
Oh, that's pretty awkward.
And here's Trinisphere, so now any... okay, well, there we go. We got the Overgrown Tomb. Okay. So he can probably cast whatever he wants.
Okay.
Fulminator blowing up the red mana, sure.
That seems fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think the rest of Ben's hand now is just stranded. He did draw a Huntmaster that fells, but he can't cast that since he got his land blow up. Here's a Verdant.
Yeah, so like I said, okay,
yeah, there we go.
This is going to be brutal.
Yeah, this was...
Ben really can't come back from this. I'm just calling it right now.
Yeah, especially drawing more 4-drops when he already got his land destroyed.
Yeah. So this is what I mean when I say that the Ponza deck can't not have mana ramp.
Right.
The problem with the deck is, and the way a lot of people play it, people play this deck with 20 or 21 lands, which is ridiculous given that you have to curve into 5 and 6 drops.
Sure.
I mean, that's how you win the game. So they play 5 and 6, and of course they have all the ramp. They've got, you know, four elves, 4 sprawls, 2 birds. They've got, you know, the Moonwally Acid Moss ramping them. But Jesus, it's greedy to play 21 lands, or even 20. I wonder if Ben's on 20.
Yeah, and at this point, Ben is just so far behind, he's probably has no way to get back in this game. Even if he draws 1 land, his best play is like a Blood Moon, which isn't going to do much at this point.
Yeah.
He's facing down the Leon Ultimate. I'm pretty sure this Grimflayer is Delirium active, so
I guess it doesn't really matter, but Mike chose to get a swamp there instead of a forest.
Instead of the forest.
The forest lets you play out Goyfs.
That's true.
I don't know if, you know, through a Blood Moon, I'm saying. Not that that's super relevant here, but I wonder why get the, if you're going to get one, why get the swamp over the forest here? I mean, maybe it's irrelevant. Maybe he's got Thoughtseizes in hand, but I don't know.
And a flashback Lingering Souls, which does cost 3, interestingly enough.
Yeah,
yeah, so that's going to go to game 3. The Ponza play out of the Abzan deck, beating Ponza.
Yeah.
Destroying that stomping ground there.
That Fulminator mage, yeah. Get wrecked, Ponza. Yeah, so like we said at the outset, Lily on an empty board here is kind of unbeatable. I mean, Ben has things he can do there if he had lands, like top deck a Bonfire and send it to Lily's face.
Right.
But
yeah, with only 2 mana and no red.
Yeah. Stormbreath Dragon's also an okay answer to Liliana, but it's, you know, once he lands if he lands the turn 3 Lily when Mike is on the play, you're probably not going to have the lands left to be able to land a 5-mana Stormbreath Dragon.
Right.
That he'll shred your hand and you won't be able to play it. So very tough for Ben to operate without mana ramp, and very tough to deal with the turn 3 Lily when he's on the draw. Yeah,
Fulminator seems, I'm guessing, yeah, obviously that was out of the sideboard from Mike, but that seems like a very strong card in this matchup. Even if you blow up in a Utopia Sprawled land, like, that's good enough. You don't even need to.
Yeah. One of the interesting things about the Ponza deck too is that because of the text on Utopia Sprawl, the fact that it only enchants forests, and because of how that interacts with Blood Moon, in other words, if you Utopia Sprawl is Stomping Ground, it'll fall off after you Blood Moon. And because of that, these Ponza decks play like 6 or 7 or 8 or even 9 basic forests. And we saw that punishing Ben there too, right? His lands were forest, and 1 Stomping Ground, right? And he couldn't do anything. I mean, he needs that red mana, and frankly, they don't play enough red. Most people play like 6 or 7 fetches, and then 3 Stomping Grounds and a basic mountain. And that's not exactly a lot of red sources.
So it looks like Ben did keep 7 here. He's got the Arbor Elf turn 1, and he has a Utopia Sprawl for turn 2, but the Arbor Elf is going to get Fatal Pushed right away.
That's where That's where Mike wants to be.
Oh, man. Okay, good. Ben does have a 2nd land.
But speaking of Push the Elf, by the way, come get your Bolt the Bird Top Deck Productions shirts. I think they can be ordered. Can they be pre-ordered still, or is that over?
I think that might be over now.
But yeah, you can still order your Top Deck Productions shirts. There's a shirt that has, I think, this logo you're seeing on the playmat right here, and then also there's a Bolt the Bird one. I've been trying to convince our Top Deck Productions guys to do a Strike the Snake shirt.
Strike the Snake?
Yeah.
Oh, for standard.
For Lightning Strike.
Sure.
Yeah, Strike the Snake. We heard some talk of Push the Cleric.
Yeah.
Or Push the Druid.
Push the Druid, sure. Abrupt Decay the Utopia Sprawl. There we go, that's not bad.
That seems, I mean, I guess, did Ben name Red with Utopia Sprawl?
I'm guessing he did. He has the Blood Moon in hand. So that's probably going to come down here. This is really unfortunate for Mike. Every time he uses his Abrupt Decay, he gets Blood Moon the next turn. And there's no chance of getting rid of the Blood Moon, although I don't think he would have the basic forest anyway. So we'll see how Mike is able to play through this Blood Moon. I don't know. It might just lock him out like it did game 1. Is there any Jeskai Hello? Okay. Is there any Jeskai control tonight? We have at least 1 player playing Jeskai.
Is it Victor?
No, it's Robbie.
Oh, Robert Meadows.
Yeah.
We got some elves, got some burn. We have a mill player tonight, Grixis Delver.
Cheerios.
Bant Coco.
Like to see some Cheerios.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of Cheerios that is.
I don't know, but Dirtle tonight is on Bring to Light Scape Shift, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
he opted not to go for the Blood Moon, instead going for the Huntmaster. All right.
I do not understand that.
Yeah, because now Mike has an opportunity here to get his basic forest, probably. This Verdant.
It is true that Huntmaster.
No, we're not. We are not getting the basic forest, though. We're getting the pass so we can get rid of Huntmaster. Huh.
I think Mike assumed that his opponent didn't have Blood Moon
Since he didn't
he
play
played
it there?
Huntmaster,
Yeah.
but that's going to be that could end up being a big assumption here.
All right.
Makes an ass out of you and me, Mario.
See, that's why I always say suppose, because you can't make soup out of you and pose. It just doesn't work.
I don't know. There's a joke lying in there somewhere. I think it probably involves one person being a poser.
Sure. Well, here's Blood Moon, and we're getting in there for 3.
Swing for 3.
So Farrell's probably kicking himself right now for getting that Godless Shrine.
Oh,
he's got the second basic.
He's got the second Swamp.
The second Swamp is not what he wants.
Okay, and look at this guy. Storing Wildwood comes in untapped.
Sure.
How about that?
Down goes Swamp.
So, are you saying, Mario, that everything now comes in untapped?
According to our chat level 1 judge, he said yes. So I believe
everything now comes in untapped.
Yeah, it's just a basic mountain.
Okay.
Well, here's the second Swamp.
That's interesting.
However, I don't think Mike is going to be able to come back into this game. He's need to draw like exactly his basic forest, maybe, or some sort of threat he can cast with just the Swamp.
Double Blood Moon. Okay.
Well, I mean that still leaves Maelstrom Pulses and out. Well, we can Inquisition with our Swamp. See Beast Within that.
Okay.
There that goes.
Now, Beast Within could actually have improved Ben's Clock here if he Beast Within his own Arbor Elf end of turn.
Or one of his own Blood Moons.
Yeah, sure. Oh, good point.
Acid Moss takes on the other basic Swamp. And that probably is going to do it for Mike here. Just slow death to Wolf and Arbor Elf.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ben playing out the Huntmaster was weird, but
yeah, I wonder if it almost baited.
Yeah, it
Mike
baited
not
Mike.
Getting basics.
Of course, Mike didn't have that fetch land in play anyway, so it didn't really matter.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, Mike really gets punished there for not. Okay.
Yeah.
Zealous Persecution.
Even if he would have had like a Marsh Flats there to get the basic planes instead of the Godless Shrine, that would have been a little bit better for him. He at least could cast that Zealous Persecution, but
yeah. So I'll say that I like Grim Flayer a lot. Grim Flayer is nowhere near as good as Goyf against a Blood Moon deck.
That is probably true. Yeah.
Goyf is so easy to cast, and that's kind of what shores up these matchups for you. Is Goyf is just not hard to cast. Grim Flayer is
much harder to cast.
Impossible to cast
through a Blood Moon. Yeah. Yeah. So that was a pretty quick round 1.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get a second.
Yeah, we'll try to find another match to bring on.
Gosh, we didn't even see the
camera.
Titan.
No, we didn't see much. We saw some bad creatures getting in there through a Blood Moon.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all you need.
So I guess.
So before we go to find another match, quick announcement. So if you've been following us for a little while, we've been running some giveaways each month. So September coming to a close. Our next month's giveaway is for a fat pack, or a bundle, I guess it's called these days, of Ixalan. So if you subscribe to us in the month of October, or now for the month of October, you'll be entered to win an Ixalan bundle shipped to you for free. And subscriptions are half off currently for, I think, any YouTube channel, but for ours specifically, it's definitely only $2.50 to subscribe. So pretty cheap deal. If you enter, like, you could win, $30 value of the, or $35 value of the Ixalan bundle. So please consider doing that if you want to support us and keep the stream improving.
Yeah, just consider this. The next time you're doing your laundry, just don't dry it. Just don't dry it. Instead of spending that $250 on
bundle.
Drying your clothes, just give it to the stream. I mean, dry clothes are kind of overrated.
They'll dry
anyway.
eventually.
Yeah, just hang them up. Just hang them up. All right, we'll be back. We'll
go
try to get
look for
another match in sideboard.
Thanks, guys.